Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna talk about like 4 interesting things that have happened over the past month and a half. Yes, there's a different position behind me. I figured out it'd probably be easier to do this, and it just popped in my head earlier today. Maybe I should do a video sitting like this. It's got better lighting because I'm gonna be reading from my TV and my Xbox right now, and well, there's more space, there's not much clutter, and it's more comfortable for me. So I don't have to stand up and talk. Not saying I'm lazy, but it looks better too. Look at this camera, it looks way better. But I've been gone for almost a month now, but that's only because I was enjoying life. I started school back up, and you kids out there, high school especially, guys know how hard it is to readjust after winter break. So yeah, now without further ado, let's get into this. So we're going to talk about the new small size Ford pickup. We're going to talk about the new 2020 GMC Sierra HD, which looks really cool. It's an amazing looking truck. And we're going to talk about Polestar's Polestar 2 electric vehicle. That's the name of it, at least, Polestar 2. And why the Lamborghini? Evo Huracan Evo X, which is the LP name. Roll the intro. Alright, so now I'm reading off my TV. I might be looking up instead of to the side, but it could be both. Simply because of how the page layout is on the Xbox and Microsoft Edge. But let's get into the new 2020 Sierra HD. Now, they're saying this is going to be more of a, obviously a reskinned Chevy Silverado HD, which is not really a surprise because Chevy and GMC are the same. General Motors makes GMC and Chevy. So, okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so like I said earlier in my videos, it's car and driver. So if I'm acting a little bit different, yes, I'm a little bit smarter than I was before. I think about a lot of things now. Obviously, I'm learning as I think about everything that I can do. Maybe go ahead. Maybe this new positioning is way better. These videos may be very well longer. Okay, so the 2020 GMC Sierra heavy-duty pickup truck has just crested the horizon, hot on the heels of the Chevrolet's redesigned Silverado HD. Okay, there's a lot of controversy between this on the new Silverado HD. I like it. It's really cool. It's a cool looking truck. My dad disagrees with me because, well, me and him have like a 0304 GMC 1500 and 2500, but that's probably arguably the last decently looking GMC truck or Sierra, in my opinion, until about 2016, and then they changed it. Now it looks way better. Now this is be a truck I would drive every day proudly. Honestly, I don't care what car I drive. If it's a beater, point A to point B, I might not look cool pulling up to school, but guess what? Can't afford much, right? Okay, as you expect, the styling is the biggest differentiator between the two trucks, obviously. I say GMC is the more luxury version of Chevy. Chevy's the more cheaper version of GMC, but unfortunately, Chevy was meant to be, was before GMC, and Chevy was supposed to be his most high-tech, really nice looking, most comfortable, most luxurious car you can buy in America. But that didn't quite turn out after, I don't know, 1940-ish, and or whenever GMC was designed. And then it started to take a turn where GMC was way better than Chevy. I think they saw it as a marketing standpoint, as you can see from the K5 Blazer, and then, or like the Tahoes and stuff compared to the Yukons. They look way different, and the Yukon looks way more like high-end, I would say. Okay, so differentiate between the two trucks, which is either a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how you feel about the Silverado's HD's polarizing new face. The new GMC also introduces a few optional features that are said to help with towing, hauling, and other truck tasks. As before, this year HD range compromises. Okay, sorry, I'm getting used to this. I'm using my controller. Yeah, see, I'm using my controller to scroll down the page. As before, this year HD range compromises 2500 and 3500 models and offers myriad offers my rated bed and cab configurations. I don't know too much what that means. Maybe I'll get into that in another video. I'll look it up and I'll learn more about it before I say something about it, because I'm not going to talk out of my rear end. That just makes me look bad. Okay, similar to what we've seen with the Silverado HD, various trim levels. This year's different models, which mirror the light duty CR 1500s lineup, the SLE, the SLT, and the AT4, which they just came out with or revealed beginning of January. I do have a video on that. I might link that in the description below. But before I go on, for every one of these links will be linked in the description below if you want to go check these out. To prove to you that I'm not talking about my rear end, that I'm just biased about GMC, Chevy against Ford or Dodge. This is what I'm reading. I'm a fan of Chevy, obviously. I believe Fords are more unreliable, but you can go in the comment section below and change my mind. I do like Fords, but it's a big thing. Fords like the brake. I know people who own Fords that have broken down many times. Okay. And the fully loaded Denali, really? The 1500 Denali? Huh, I did not know that. Interesting. We all learn more. Well, that makes sense. It's a GMC, right? All look fairly different from one another. Obviously, the off-road oriented AT4 is 3 to 4 inches taller than the regular standard SLE or SLT, especially the Denali. Denali, I think, is a little bit lower on the specs of things, but I may be wrong on that, because I don't really see Denalis here in my town. I mean, because I don't go to the south of town. So, because up here we are all just basic trucks, SLEs, SLTs. So, okay, the Denali has the requisite chrome laden front grille, which is a really nice looking grille. I think this is in the picture here. Yep. And I'll probably put that as the thumbnail. So if you want to check that thumbnail out, you probably already saw the thumbnail, which most people do. They look at the thumbnail before, but maybe not. The AT4 has a bit of dark exterior trim, which I do like the blackout version. But if I didn't have the Denali symbol, I like the chrome. The chrome looks really cool. Again, I might talk about the new Dodge heavy duty truck, because they're all everybody's coming out their heavy duty trucks at the same time. I've seen as a I'm sorry, my back itches. As I see as a trend here in the dawn of 2019. So, okay. So the AT4 is bits of dark exterior trim and off-road suspension setup with Rancho shocks, which are interesting. But I probably wouldn't have gone for Rancho shocks, but that's me. And the locking rear differential and all-terrain tires, which is no surprise for an off-road oriented truck. Ford, I believe, does it. Jeep does it. Dodge does it. And it wouldn't be no surprise if Chevy or GMC did it, which they do. So, options include the light-duty Sierra's multi-pro tailgate with a few different positions, a 15-inch head-up display. Whew, that's big. Heads-up display, and a camera system that displays various views of the trailer. It's unclear at this point which of these options will be offered on the Silverado HD, which will be reserved just for GMC. So those options will be only GMC. So at least they're going for a touch. They're different, obviously, but we already know they're not trying to make it look like a reskin Silverado HD, because who would spend more money for probably? Well, they look both equally cool, but I think the GMC more has a Fordish headlight look. But I don't know who stole this idea, but because GMC had that thing around their headlight, like I think 1 year before Ford brought out their F-250 Platinum. So, okay. As for this year, HD's dirty bits, they call that dirty bits. I don't know why. There isn't much variation from the new Silverado HD's powertrain offerings, which include a gasoline V8 and a turbo diesel V8, which is the Duramax. The diesel is the same as the 6.6 liter. Oh, so they're not doing a Duramax. Wait, that makes no sense. So they're saying a turbo diesel V8. The diesel is the same as the 6.6 liter Duramax unit from the current truck. But how does that make sense? So that means Chevy or Chevy and GMC or General Motors in general, no pun intended, maybe are doing a different kind of varietizing a little bit as far as their diesel engines, because Fords are more advanced. They're learning new things, making their trucks better. And Chevy and GMC, especially Dodge, well, no, not Dodge. No, they brought out a V6 diesel for their main trucks, but I think it looks like they're kind of varietizing a little bit as not to be the archetype truck, which archetype means the original type of something, which is the original Duramax or the original diesel engine, which runs, I think, push rods. Maybe they're changing something. Maybe they're going to do more of a fuel efficient, more high tech one. Okay, it makes the same power and torque, 445 horsepower and almost 1,000 feet of torque. But now made it on an Allison 10-speed automatic transmission to replace the old 6-speed. Oh, no. Okay, cool. Allison is doing a 10-speed now. That's good. That's one of the best transmissions you can buy, I've heard. Especially on my bus, it has a Cummins with a Allison transmission. You can't feel the shifts at all. Well, it's also old, but it's okay. The only facts that GMC have shared, or General Motors have shared on the gasoline powertrain so far, are that it is a new engine that it pairs with a 6-speed automatic transmission. Payload towing capacities are set to rise from, with a maximum towing capacity of more than 30,000 pounds. But the GM trucks will have their work cut out for being the new Ram HD trucks will offer up 1,000 feet of torque, and the Ford F-Series Super Duty trucks. Again, if you're looking for reliability, I would say Ram and Chevy. But Fords do look nice. They're pretty trucks. I think that's what they have going for them. So, and they're cheaper in a way. Hell, it depends on what specs you put on the truck. More specifications, including pricing, will be available when the trucks make their official debut in February at the Chicago Auto Show. GMC says that Sierra will go on sale in the second half of this year, which is really fast. Speaking of, it's really fast. So, okay, let's move on to the new Ford tiny truck, which will be below. Alright, it'll be smaller. It'll be in a scale lower than the Ranger. As you guys know, the Ranger is a tiny truck. I was thinking about, like, hey, maybe I could find one that's been depreciated, maybe in the spec I want, maybe like 2 or 3 years in the future. But then if I look at it, it's a little too low to the ground for me. But that's a mid-sized truck. It's a small-sized truck. It's just, for me, it's just it looks a little too low for me. Okay. Alright, we'll start off with this truck, which they call the Ford Courier. I think that was a truck earlier sold in, like, not in America. It's just how Ford works. They sell cars in different countries with the same badge. The Chevy likes to do, they do Vauxhall and all those guys in foreign countries. Yeah, it's the same car, and they all have different design things, but they're all owned by GM. So I don't get it, but it's okay. I'd rather drive a unmarked Chevy that is badged differently than a badged Chevy in a foreign country, because it's an American car to me. But I guess profit, money talks, capitalism is in America. So, yeah, okay. Jim Farley, Ford president of global markets, has confirmed that the company is working on a new compact pickup that will slot in Ford's lineup below the Ranger, according to the report in Automotive News. Jim Farley made the remarks while speaking at the Dutch Bank Global Auto Industry Conference in Detroit, which is a long name. Farley said that Ford is investing in a more affordable version of our truck business, and added, "You can expect new nameplates below where we compete today." So that means they're gonna make a truck for maybe a cheap truck for guys who want a truck but don't tow much, but have to put stuff in the bed and can't afford much, which is the low middle class to middle class. Middle class, as far as hey, we can't afford an $80,000 truck because we have a family that we need to support, that we need to work for, which is perfectly fine. I would like to see every company do this, because Who some people want a brand new truck. It's simple as that. They want a truck with low miles that can last them longer than 5 years if you buy a used one. So it's just easy as that, which that'd be really cool to see. So okay, the news dovetails nicely with our earlier report, car driver's earlier report. That Ford was planning a subcompact pickup truck to fill the physical and spiritual void left by not only the car-based Ford Courier pickup. I think that's like a Holden. Obviously Holden, I believe, is Ford. Yeah, I think Holden is Ford, which was sold in countries such as Brazil and Mexico. But also the Mazda-based compact pickup truck that Ford sold in the United States throughout the 1970s, 1980s, which I believe was the Ford Ranchero. But it was a Ford Ranchero and Ford Ranger. Ford Ranger is obviously not the small compact truck they're talking about. Okay. Well, we got a lot to go through. We're at 15 minutes. Okay. All right. While car driver still doesn't have what. Okay. While people still don't have confirmation on markets in which the new compact pickup will be sold. C/D. A car and driver recently acquired this set of spy photos of heavily camouflaged small vehicle testing in Michigan, which is where Ford, Chevy, I believe Dodge are all based. That's Motor City's state, which is Detroit, which is unfortunately ruined because the gas crunch in the 1970s, that's when Detroit died. So, alright, the photographers insist that the vehicle, although clad to resemble a small van, is a small car-based pickup truck. Additionally, Ford recently applied to trademark their Courier name with the United States Patent and Trademark Offices. Now, what this probably means, because if you look at the spy photos, like a link to all of these articles will be in the description below. You can see, if you look through, it's a slotted window, and you can see there's nothing else behind it but the panel. So that's why it looks like a box from the back. But if you look at it from the front, you can tell there's a back window, and there's nothing else there. So I don't think this will be a car pickup truck, but if you look at the front, it kind of looks like a Escape headlights and front end with a back end. So looks like a Ridgeline. What's going to be like a Ridgeline, which is a Honda Pilot and with a bed on it, which it looks okay, but it's not that great. Okay. As they reported earlier, the new model will share its underpinnings with the latest global Ford Focus. Oh, okay. So this is gonna be a Ford Focus with probably a Escape front end and a back end of some sort. That'd be kind of funny if they did put an F-150 back end on it, but probably not. Which is a possibility, or maybe they'll put the Focus taillights on it, or maybe the Escape taillights, which would look like of course, a Holden. A hybrid model is a possibility because it is a car truck. I don't like the idea of trucks going hybrid because you can only tow so much with an electric vehicle. Tesla's kind of proved that you could, but it's just, what if you need to go somewhere and you don't have the time to charge your truck up, or if you're at a job site, driving around the job site all day, that doesn't have a plug-in for your truck every whatever so minutes or whatever so time you have to do it. Especially if you are driving around the job site all day and you have to drive it a long way home. There's an issue with this. That electric trucks that I have, people may have a different opinion than me, but it's just my opinion that it's not the best thing that people could do. I think the dawn of the electric vehicles, when that debuts, will probably be in about 10-15 years. Which will be really disappointing because I would love to make my fortunes and drive super fast, super nice cars, while we still have gas cars driving around, where we still have a ton of gas stations everywhere instead of just electric charging stations. But I guess the future holds. My generation, or the generation before me, has kind of pushed this. Please give me another gas crunch. We're already working on it. Car companies are already working on more fuel efficient cars, trucks, and everything. So I don't see an issue with it. Fossil fuels are a bunch of decay stuff. stuff under the surface of the Earth it is today that decays and makes a gas. I believe octane. It produces octane. We do something to it to make gas. Now that's kind of a funny way to turn off or spin off of this subject, because now we're going to talk about the Polestar 2 electric vehicle. All right, Volvo's new Polestar 2 EV is coming this year with a 400 horsepower and 300 miles of range. This car would probably kick my truck's ass right now. So, all right, this is updated 3 days ago on the 23rd. Polestar. Okay, I'm gonna put this out on the 27th. So if I'm saying 23rd, I'm gonna say 4 days ago on the 23rd. Polestar has shared a glimpse of its new infotainment system that will debut in the two. This new Google Android-based system touchscreen will presumably propagate across the Polestar and Volvo lineups in the near future. Another teaser image is below the twos. So that's what they call it. They call it the 2. Thin LED taillight strip and badge. Now, it's gonna be a Google-based system. I believe it's not like Apple CarPlay where you can hook your phone up and you access your phone through the screen and have all your apps and stuff. But if you do have a Samsung, I'm pretty sure you can probably do this, or like a Google Pixel. So, okay. Volvo's new EV-focused Polestar division is wasting no time fleshing out its lineup. A new fully electric vehicle called the Polestar 2 is coming sometime this year to follow the Polestar 1 plug-in hybrid coupe. Along with the first teaser image that shows a glimpse of the rear end, we also have a fair amount of preliminary information about what to expect from the Polestar second model. That's pretty cool looking. Given that the Polestar says the 2 has a 4-door fastback shape, we think it'll look a lot like the Volvo's 40.2 concept, which is a SUV. From a few years ago, pictured below. If you're reading this, I'm just reading from the text, because I'm learning about these cars. It's really cool because I can talk about this with my friends and stuff. Like the Polestar 1, which is loosely based on the S90 sedan. It seems like the Polestar 2 will have some link to the Volvo's 40 series models, which ride on architecture shared with the parent company of Geely called CMA. The Polestar's construction, however, will accommodate a large battery pack that will provide 300 miles of range with a power output of about 400 horsepower. Because, again, this will kick my truck's rear end, because my truck only makes like 330 horsepower. I haven't downloaded it. It's just a basic 4.8 liter V8, Vortec V8, hence my name, Vortec guy. That's where that comes from. Not to mention, this has no, I forgot what they call it, but it doesn't lag when it launches. Like, it doesn't have wheels it doesn't have a ton of torque to where the point where it locks only one wheel. I think all wheels will be moving at one point. I think that's how that works. Okay. The Polestar says it will be priced in the Tesla Model 3's orbit, which means it should cost about $40,000 to $50,000 at start, at base price. A new Google Android-based infotainment system with Google Assistant integration will be on hand. So I would probably take this over a Tesla, because I like Volvo. They're very good quality. They're the safest car. I believe still the safest car you can buy, or company you can buy from. They have the safest cars, and they look better than Teslas, in my opinion. They look way cooler in so many ways. But they're both unique in their own ways. One's Swedish, one's American. So, because I don't think Tesla's American, but I guess that it could be, because they're all made in America. So yeah, technically they are American. Okay. The Polestar 2 will make its official debut within the next few months, and it will likely go on sale in the year 2020 model. So maybe the end of this year, maybe. So if they're going to sale later in the 2020 year as a 2020 model, yeah. So to me, later this year, because you can't badge something a 2020 model in the 2020 year. It could be badged a 2020.5 before you get to the limit in I think it's like August or September, where it'll switch to 2021. Dang, time flies, man. Okay, the company is pushing a subscription model similar to the Care by Volvo system, which this charges an all-inclusive monthly fee. Polestar will also eschew traditional dealerships in favor of showrooms called Polestar Spaces, which is a Polestar only section of a showroom, which is majority like all those nice luxury cars do have. Let's talk about the Care by Volvo system real quick, because there's a link to it, I think. Never mind, it doesn't work on my Xbox. Okay, so I think this will be a really cool car. I'm not a fan of electric cars. I don't like quiet. I like to be able to hear my car, but it's gonna happen eventually. Yes, I know that. So, okay, sorry. It's not responding. Okay. All right. Yeah, my Xbox is the original Xbox, so it's like 6 years old. Right about now. Okay, the addition of the Evo. Okay, we're gonna talk about the why a car driver thinks the Lamborghini Huracan Evo ditches the LP naming scheme. Alright, let's talk about that. And also why Lambo likes its paddles on the steering column. Obviously, we know that, so you can turn your wheel and you know where the paddle's going to be at all times. We already know that. Okay, in addition to of Evo to the Huracan name reflects the ongoing debate with the auto industry over the real words versus the numeric words vehicle naming conventions, which is the LP 670, 640. But they're going to call it the Evo. They're not going to call it an LP anything, is what they're saying here. For years, Lamborghini has used the LPX or LP number convention as a shorthand for describing its models. Obviously, like the Gallardo, the Murcielago, the Aventador, those cars. Okay, and I believe the Diablo too. I think that's where that started, was the Diablo. Maybe the Countach. Okay, for instance, the vehicle, the Evo, replaces the called Huracan LP 610-4. The L and P stand for longitude posterior in Italian, and refer to both the V10 engine's orientation north-south and position back half of the car. The number 610 represents the power output, 610, or in Italy's favorite unit, cavalinos. I believe that's horsepower, all horses. While -4 describes, or -4 describes the number of driven wheels, which is all-wheel drive is 4. -2 is two-wheel drive, obviously. If you guys did not know that, that's it for you. Lamborghini claims to shift the real words such as Performante and Evo, makes them easier to understand for the consumer, and from branding perspective, which makes sense. If I was coming into the car world and I had a ton of money, I wanted to buy a Huracan, I'm like, what the heck does that mean? Do you really care? No. All you need to care about is -2 or -4. That's all I care about, at least. Even if the global intellectual property rights make it increasingly difficult to secure such names. For that reason, and the ease of translation to other languages like Chinese, other manufacturers pursue alphanumerics with gusto. I don't like ones. I'm guessing what that means. I don't speak Italian. I do speak Spanish, but they're kind of. I've been told they're similar to each other. So gusto means like in Spanish. So likes, alphanumerics with likes. What has yet to be decided within the halls of Sant Agata is how Evo will be used. When asked if the hypothetical Performante model would be badged Huracan Evo Performante or Huracan Performante Evo, it would be pretty cool if they said the Huracan Evo Performante, because they're calling it the Huracan Evo, which would make sense. So if they're going to call it the Huracan Evo Performante or Huracan Performante Evo, they're like, okay, so we have a Performante, but they named it Evo, but it's already called the Evo before. So why don't you say Lamborghini Huracan Evo Performante? So Reggiani winced and said while he prefers the former, LP number, it's still under deep discussion, so they may put LP in it, but I guess it comes from a decent standpoint that they obviously want something as far as something easier for consumers to read. Who cares about the Dash 4? So yeah. Okay, I just closed down my page on accident. Alright, let's do this. Let's fix this. Oh, this Xbox is so slow. I can't wait to get a new one, but I think I'm gonna buy a PC before I get a new one. This thing is slow, but it's old. So okay. It's a debate that rages among their staff. Some prefer transmission paddle shifters attached to the steering wheel, which I don't like, because if you're taking like a hairpin turn and you need to do this and you need to shift down, well, you need to get that apex right to get your times correct. Which it does confuse some people, actually. Which follow the wheel through its rotations. Well, I was like, I'm in a fixed position on the steering column. Lamborghini engineers have had the same debate, but settled it in the snow, which is, okay, this is done, this is official. With prototypes rocking each setup. So, after driving on a slippery course requiring a lot of steering input, including full lock to lock rotations, a vast majority of Lamborghini's test team agreed that in the end it's easier to find the downshifts and upshifts in the fixed position, which is no surprise. Fixed to the steering column. It is worth noting that Formula One cars use the same mounted paddles. That the quickness of the steering ratio means maximum rotation, excluding emergency maneuvers, really approach 180 degrees. Okay, well, that is it for this video, guys. Make sure you guys like this video. If you guys have made it this far into this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Yeah, it'll probably help a lot. And comment down below what you guys want me to talk about next. I'm sure there's a lot I've not seen, but if you guys want me to talk about that next, I'll look into it. And yeah, thank you guys. Have a good day.